if you come at these Kings, you best not miss. Shout out to Gabe, man. Y'all know what it is. It's the
all
Kings
the time, man.
on this impromptu stream pregame Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 8 for the Washington Commanders. Come into the game at 3-4. Chiefs come in at 4-3. I was just talking to Rico backstage before we hopped on, and he said that this feels unfamiliar. I want you to explain to everybody what you mean by that. I think that is such a great way to put it, but I want you to explain to them what you were referencing when you said that.
Man, because it's been a minute. It's been since basically Dan Quinn and Adam Peters got here where what happens. You know what I'm saying? It has that feeling to it where, like, you're going in hopeful, but there's not just this dreaded expectation of, like, you better not look like that. Going into those the Bears games and Cowboys games were more stressful because they were like expectations, but we also knew we have some injuries and things like that. Things can get a little ugly. This one is purely, hey, man, we're playing with house money. And again, that's just a weird, non-stressful feeling that we haven't had since, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn got here. And I miss the stress. I miss the expectations. I miss the realistic hope, the confidence going into every game, the optimism. But you never know. We've been bigger underdogs and have won crazier games. So I'm excited.
Facts. You're not wrong. That is true, but those opponents weren't the Chiefs either with Patrick Mahomes. So that gives me a little bit more pause. Right. That gives me a little bit more pause that it's going to happen. But you just never know. This is why they play the game. And, like you said, there are zero expectations going into the night. I mean, do you have an ask of this team? Is there something you're asking of the squad tonight that you either normally don't ask of them or you haven't had to ask because you haven't been here in a while, but now because of the situations, the circumstances in this particular situation, you are going to ask that of them tonight?
I mean, I've been asking for it all season, but like now it's especially like there's no reason not to. You got to get these young guys some run, man, especially in this linebacker room. Now, Joey Jr. and Dan Quinn already said that they will play Jordan McGee more, and even Kane Medrano should be active in this game, and he should be playing as well, and he'll contribute.
Right.
But I mean, more now than ever, bro. Let these young guys go, bro. Just let them fly. They're gonna make mistakes. But the sooner they get those mistakes out the way, they get game tape for them to study. You know what I'm saying? Because, up to this point, Kane Medrano has had to study Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu tape. He hasn't even had his own tape to study of these are my tendencies. This is what I do in these situations, and this is how I need to correct those things. So, like, get Kane Medrano on the field more. I mean, Jordan McGee has the most snaps in his NFL career in a game, and he goes out there, and of course he has the most tackles at line of scrimmage he's ever had. He only allows two catches for 4 yards on like 8 coverage snaps or something like that. He had an 87.7 defensive grade. Like that's a guy that the more he plays, the better he'll become. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be plays where Jordan McGee, what were you doing on that run fit? Why were you over there in that gap? Right. And that's fine, bro. But we need speed on this team, and we need to see who we are. And I'm not even talking about like long-term 2026. It's time to play the young guys, looking forward to the draft. No, with the injuries that we have, is no reason for us not to go ahead and play the young guys, especially with us being underdogs like we are, so that when we do get our guys back, more about Jordan McGee, more about Kane Medrano, and hopefully they're ready to play on a team that has a lot of their starters back. Jaden Daniels healthy, Debo Terry healthy, and then now you have suddenly this younger linebacker in Jordan McGee that's ready to go out there and play meaningful snaps and impact games.
Similar to what you just said, it's what DQ said about the wide receivers, right? Like, we weren't expecting to have to play Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane as much as we did this season. If Noah Brown, Terry McLaurin, and Debo are all healthy, those guys aren't getting the amount of run that they got this year to this point. But they were thrown in there because of circumstances. We've seen them be able to perform at a higher level. You can put more on their plate now. And now that you're starting to get some of these guys back, their roles are going to change, but you know that if you have to count on them, you can, right? And that's
That's pretty
kind of
similar to I always go back to that Reggie Jackson season when Westbrook and Durant were hurt. Like,
yep,
because I
yep,
I was a big Thunder Westbrook fan back then and everything.
yeah,
In this unassuming backup point guard, now he's thrust into this starting role. I'll never
hmm
forget. I think he dropped 50 something on the Knicks.
hmm
And then when Westbrook and KD came back, he was this guy that you could just trust, 6 man off the court, can get you whatever buckets you need to. But
yep,
before having that strong amount of experience from the starters above him on the depth chart being out,
mhm,
he was just a guy, really. And then, with that expanded role, that expanded expectation, like you just alluded to,
yep,
that like now Luke McCaffrey has to go out there and make a play.
mhm,
It's not optional. We need you to. Now, when he goes and takes a back seat, you're more trusting in the fact that he'll be reliable and do what he's supposed to do in any given moment. He won't be nervous. I mean, how nervous can you be going from a starting level role to now Terry and Debo are back out there, and maybe you'll get a couple of targets, but it's
right.
not the same. This game depends on me feeling going in.
That's right, which is what it was last week against Dallas, right?
Boy,
And and previous weeks when we haven't had our full complement of receivers. So, like, I'm with you on that. It's time to see these young guys get an opportunity. I wish we had more young guys that we could, kind of see what they could do, but we just don't. We don't have a particularly young team. My thing that I'm asking this team to do, normally in these spots, I would ask them to not embarrass me. I haven't asked this team to not embarrass me in quite some time, right? Since DQ is taking over.
Yeah.
But what I am looking for tonight is proof of life. In the movies, proof of life usually is a cut off finger or some sort of pre-recorded video of someone, or you call them on the phone, you hear their voice. Proof of life, right? I need proof of life from this team to show me that the brotherhood is strong, alive, and well, and that you're not going to quit on me. Because last week was the first time in the DQ era I felt like this team quit on the field. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I never felt that with them before. Like, all the losses last year up until the NFC Championship game were close losses. The Tampa Bay game week 1 was the only one that kind of got out of control at the end. That was week 1. We didn't know what this team was. You could make excuses like, oh, the team didn't play in the preseason really all that much. Guys ran out of gas at the end of that game, et cetera, et cetera. If Jaden's first game, it was Cliff's first game as the play caller. Like, all the other games were close games that we just didn't find a way to win. We, self-inflicted wounds, whatever. Even this season, it didn't feel like a close game against Green Bay in week 2. That's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, right? Like,
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it, but it was, right? After the Zach Ertz touchdown, you're down 17-10. You're right there. The week 4 loss, you were never out of that game. You were never in a position to win it, but you were never out of it. The defense just never could get you the ball back with a chance to do anything, but you were never out of that game. Week 6, excuse me, we had that game until the end. We literally lost that game in the final seconds. We were leading for the vast majority of that football game after a slow start. So last week was the first time where we just got our back kicked in and we didn't show any resolve, any fight. Even DQ, who usually fights to the bitter end, he waved the white flag, took his guys out of the game. I have no issues with that. We weren't coming back in that game. It felt like when Jaden got hurt, the air left our sails at that point. You know what I mean?
The air left Marcus Mariota's pass sales.
Yeah.
Pick six.
Pick 6, right? Like, it just hung in the air like forever. I'm like, Lord.
Looked like a rebound.
It did, man. It looked like a punt. You know what I mean? That thing just hung in the air forever. So, like, I'm just looking for proof of life. That last week was an aberration. It's not a sign of things to come, that you're not going to just be out here getting your, teeth kicked in every week, that you're going to fight. So I need proof of life tonight. And we got some news here that just came down. So we'll take a look at it. Yeah, we got some big time news. So we knew about the injury situation. We had 2 guys that were questionable for tonight's game. The only 2 that were really in question, which were Deron Payne with a toe injury and kicker Matt Gay with a back injury. So there were
what?
I don't. That's crazy. It happened on Saturday of all things. Like, what is going on here?
Got out the bed wrong or something, man.
It,
I don't know.
and, and so, a lot of fans are like, "Yeah, get Matt Gay out of here." But I'm like, Matthew Wright. Like you don't know who they're going to replace him with. But Matthew Wright stinks. So you went from bad to worse at place kicker tonight. Like, for as bad as you think Matt Gay is, Matthew Wright is worse. So
green grass ain't always greener, man.
Exactly.
Going from one mat to a worse mat.
That's right. One mat to a doormat, right? So, so Matthew Wright was signed to the practice squad, which is a sign that they didn't think that Matt Gay could make it through tonight's game. I hate that they released Robbie Chosen because I would rather him than Chris Moore, but they clearly love Chris Moore. He's not going
He was
anywhere.
our best receiver against the Cowboys.
Yes, he was.
Bro.
By a long shot, he was. And I mean, really think he can help.
Traylon Burks, Traylon Burks has not played and they kept him. Yeah. Robbie Chosen was our best receiver against the Cowboys and they cut him off the practice squad. So, yeah. I mean, I guess that's good news for that. They have some long-term plans for Traylon Burks down the line, but I don't expect him to play today.
Yeah, no, he's not playing tonight at all because he's probably more so for down the road this season. Now they have plans for him this year, maybe after the bye, maybe slightly before the bye, maybe the game against the Dolphins. Like it's somewhere down the line though. It's not right now. If they get him up to speed. But I hate that they released Robbie Chosen. Obviously, somebody had to go to make space for Matthew Wright, and the last person to show up is usually the first to go, right? So the last person they sign is usually the first person they get rid of. I hate it, but that's how it's got to be. He did, and I actually think he could help us a lot at receiver
right now.
Facts. And then they elevated defensive tackle Sheldon Day, which is what they did last week. So this has no bearing on Daron Payne necessarily. They did this last week because of our defensive line situation with all the injuries. So this doesn't directly impact Daron Payne being active tonight. If it did, they would have clearly told us, as they did with Matt Gay, that he has been downgraded to out. They would have told us Daron Payne was downgraded to out as well. So I'm led to believe that Daron Payne will play tonight. I have no doubts in my mind from the jump that he was going to play, because if he wasn't, they probably wouldn't have had him on the plane. So as long as there are no setbacks there, they work him out pregame, he feels good to go. I think he's going to be out there. I expect him out there.
Especially with how the whole Dorrance Armstrong injury situation played out, I would assume that they would be more cautious. So I'm confident going into this game that if Daron Payne is playing, which to your point, it looks like he will, I'm assuming that he's good to go. Because, I mean, the Deebo Samuel situation, we threw him out there. He was just a corpse of himself, a shell of himself against the Bears. And then he ended up not playing against the Cowboys. And mind you, leading up to the Bears game, I don't think he practiced the entire week, similar to Daron Payne. So I'm assuming he must be in better shape going into – Daron Payne is in better shape going into the Chiefs game than Deebo Samuel was going into that Bears game, because we've already seen these situations play out. And on top of that, we're not a Daron Payne away from beating the Chiefs. It's going to take a lot more than that. So, if he's banged up, don't risk it.
Yeah. It's easy to say that from afar, knowing that, like you said, he's probably not going to be the deciding factor in this game, but he could be. Like, he's the only defensive lineman that gets his hands on the football. So a batted ball that gets picked off could be the difference in tonight's game. Nobody else seems to be able to get their hands up on the defensive line other than Daron Payne.
So Johnny Newton did it once, but Daron Payne makes a career out of it.
Right. I mean, he had one game where he had like 3 by himself. I want to say it might have been the Bears game. It was one of those games where he had like 3 by himself.
I think he had 2 against the Cowboys after the safety, I think.
Yes. I mean, he was all over that game. It's a shame that didn't manifest itself into anything tangible, because he was absolutely outstanding and really has been for most of the season. It'll be interesting to see if he can go. I expect him to. And unlike Dorrance's injury, which was a hamstring, which, it's tied to other things, right? It's your toe. It's it's not connected to anything else that might actually have, an injury that it's just not revealing itself right now. It's just his toe. It's kind of separate. But like you said, if you're risking him for future weeks, then that's not the move tonight. You know what I mean? I'd rather have him next week for Seattle and Detroit the following week, so forth and so forth, than tonight risking him like we did with Debo, like you said, against Chicago. So Matt Gay has been downgraded to out. So that means Matthew Wright will be our place kicker tonight in a game that if you're going to win, you're going to have to make kicks. And this may come down to a field goal late. You're relying on Matthew Wright to be your savior. This is not an ideal situation. For those of you who think we're going to win tonight, this is not an ideal. Now, look, Matt Gay wasn't good either, right? That wasn't a guy you trusted either, but I'm just here to tell you. Right. Matthew Wright isn't a guy that you want to be putting your faith in either, right? So
a lot of times to realize there's a reason he's just on the couch waiting to be called. Like there's a reason he wasn't already on a roster.
Right. A lot of times Matthew Wright is wrong. So just so you guys are aware, we didn't upgrade the kicker position tonight. So understand that that also weakens this team's chances of getting it done tonight. So those were the moves that the team put out today. What's your sense of going into this game, how you're feeling about things? Like, obviously, you've already talked about the, lowered expectations. Lowered expectations. You already talked about that. What in your mind do you envision having happen in this game? What do you see taking place?
Well, I think this is going to present a really ugly narrative, but I think we're going to run the ball better.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, because Marcus Mariota runs a better read option. He's a better it's because of Mariota we're running the ball better than when we have Jaden Daniels out there. But I really want people to realize that teams are playing us differently without our receivers out there. Now that we have our receivers out there, our offense is going to look better. It's going to look more efficient. We're going to be able to run the ball way better than we have the last couple of weeks. Because, again, the Bears game, you don't even count Debo being out there. He was a shell of himself. So we've gone basically 2 games without your top 2 receivers, and teams have played us differently. I think I remember the stat. The Cowboys played the least amount of man coverage in the NFL up to when they played us, and they played it nearly 50% against us, which is like one of the highest rates of any team all season in any game. And it's because when you have no threats on the outside, we're just going to man coverage those guys, dare them to make a play, but we're going to focus 7 to 8 guys on stopping the run and dare you to beat us any other way. We dare, even though Jaden Daniels is still a great quarterback, we dare anybody to find a way to throw the ball again with these receivers here. Any quarterback, Pat Mahomes, we just dare you. We're going to play man coverage and dare any of these receivers to get open. And also saw a stat, like a chart recently, that like Jaden Daniels is the quarterback with the most yards lost from wide receiver drops, percentage-wise, this season. So just even, okay, so if I'm the Cowboys, even if they do get open, are they going to catch it? So we're just going to do everything we can to focus on stopping Bill and Jaden Daniels from running the ball, and then we're just going to dare anything else to happen. Now, going into this Chiefs game, the Chiefs can't play that way. Marcus Mariota is not Jaden Daniels, but because you have Terry and Debo out there that are constantly threatening the defensive backs, especially the corners on the outside, that's going to change up how the Chiefs play defense against us compared to how the Bears and Cowboys did, which should bode well for our run game. And again, mind you, even after 2 really bad weeks of running the ball, we're still ranked 2nd in run offense in the NFL, bro. That's how good we were the first 5 weeks, how bad, and then even with as bad as we were these last 2 weeks. So I think we're going to go back to running the ball well, and it's going to create this narrative that Marcus Mariota is a better quarterback for this offense than Jaden Daniels. Is going to make me mad.
Yeah, I don't really feed into that foolishness. I love it if he were to start that conversation. It means something really good happened tonight, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, because none of us that follow this team closely are concerned with any of those narratives that make absolutely no sense. But to your point, having those receivers back, I can't stress how big of a deal that is, not just for the pass game, but for the run game. This offense as a whole. Terry stretches the field vertically. Debo stretches the field horizontally. You're going to get that motion back, right? We have, like I said, you really haven't seen the motion the last 2 weeks, right? Without Debo out there. He was a decoy against the Bears, but he still wasn't even going in motion that much that night. So I think you're going to see the Debo from the Chargers game, the Debo from the Giants game, the one that was way more active, the Debo that killed the Falcons was really the only real threat we had at the receiver position in that game. And that guy can hurt you in a multitude of ways. It's that eye candy. It's that moving the defense around, forcing pre-snap shifts from the Chiefs defensively. And like you said, they can't just come up and be aggressive and challenge the run, because if you're too aggressive now, like we did the play that Terry ultimately got hurt on, we challenge you over the top with Terry and get vertical. So there's a lot that those two being back in the lineup does for this offense. This has to be a game where you run the football very effectively. You can not rely on the pass.
Chiefs off the field, bro.
Yes.
Our best defense is running the ball.
Yes. So that's the perfect segue. I was going to ask you, give me one or two keys to victory for us if this massive upset is to be pulled off by the Commanders.
You got to do things you haven't been doing. And that's creating turnovers. That's a huge one. And, to your point, hopefully Deron Payne plays, because maybe one of those batted balls goes up in the air and then somebody's in the backfield, somewhere in the coverage, ready to go back there and catch it like a punt. Those are going to be huge. And I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens in the red zone, like that Chargers game. Because mind you, that Chargers game, they went without scoring for a long time, but they moved the ball. We just got stops when we needed to. We got that turnover at the 1 yard line with Mike Samberstill. We're going to need something like that. So turnovers, that's going to be, I think that's number one, because I don't see us like schematically being able to stop the Chargers from the Chiefs from moving the ball. I'm not going to see us talent wise to be able to stop them from, going from 20 to 20. Chiefs, I assume they have it all day, but we're going to need some opportune turnovers to kind of swing momentum our way and things like that. And then also, again, to our point, running the ball has to be, it's turnovers number one, running the ball number two, because your best defense is your run game right now.
It's your offense.
Pat Mahomes can't score if he's not on the field.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Rice can't kill us if he's not on the field. You know what I'm saying? Travis Kelce, we've struggled with tight ends all season.
Right.
Mind you, the Chiefs, people forget the Chiefs have two quality tight ends. It's not just Travis Kelce. Again, run the ball well. Hopefully we don't allow those guys to get into a super rhythm or anything like that. Run the ball well. Your defense isn't tired. And I think, a tired defense is a bad defense. You can have the 85 Bears defense. If they're tired, they're going to allow things to happen. And, it's inevitable, bro. So turnovers when you can, and run the ball all day.
And I'll piggyback off of that. We can't turn the ball over. Conversely, we have to be perfect on offense from a turnover standpoint. Like, we can't afford any giveaways in this game. Not one. And Marcus Mariota last year didn't turn it over in all three of his performances last season. He was outstanding. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, was super efficient when he was in the game and led us to victories each of those times he played last season. It hasn't been the case this year. He's turned it over in every single one of his performances this year. The 2 starts against the Raiders and the Falcons. Right. Fumble against the Raiders on the second possession of the game. And then obviously through the pick 6 against Dallas last week. So he's had a turnover in every single game that he's played this season. He cannot turn the ball over. We cannot turn the ball over. Exactly. That's another one. I didn't even think about him, because he's been so insignificant the last 2 weeks, but he has had turnover issues this season as well. And so everybody has to understand the value and importance of the football tonight if this team is to do the improbable, the impossible, and go on the road and upset a dynastic Kansas City Chiefs team. You have to take care of the football. And then I would go on record as saying that it would be great. And I think your two are spot on. The turnovers, you got to get a takeaway, right? Like,
have to, bro.
You got to find a way. And I know that's asking a lot. What are those? Like, what are we talking about? This team doesn't do that. But it's got to happen.
Enough, the only guy forcing turnovers consistently is arguably playing the worst out of our cornerback group in Mike Samberstill. Yeah. People are on Lattimore's head. Samberstill has allowed the most yards in coverage and most catches in coverage by far on this team. Like, Lattimore has like 10 less receptions or something crazy, some insane stat I saw somewhere. I wish I remember the exact numbers, but Samberstill is literally, Lattimore's catching a lot of the fire from the fan base, but Samberstill's actually been the worst corner.
Yeah, it's again. I don't think they put him in great positions, but
Yeah, I think
it's
it's
tough.
more scheme than anything. I
Yeah,
agree.
it's tough, man. Playing man coverage inside, like you got to be special to do that.
Especially
And
this day and age. Like
yeah,
a lot of
with
teams' best receivers come
in the
see
slot.
from the slide.
Yes, yes. So it's been tough, but could we get a special teams touchdown or something
Ooh.
of that effect tonight? Could we get a Jalen Lane punt return? And even if it's not for a touchdown, could it be a big 56-yard return that sets up, or kickoff return by Luke, or something that sets this offense up in great field position? It'd be great to get a touchdown and not even have the offense have to do anything. But can we get something that changes the game? Can we get a block kick? Can we do something that alters the game? Last time we played on Monday night, we blocked a field goal, which is something we don't do around here. So can we get something like that this time around? A return kick. The last time Mariota had the first start of a stint. Hopefully this is his only start of this stint. But the last time we got a punt return from Jalen Lane for a touchdown. Can we get something like that, some kind of special contribution from the special teams in this football game? You're going to need something extra, something extraordinary to happen that we're
Something
not
from the
thinking of.
unusual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something unique and unusual that we aren't accustomed to seeing from this team if you are to pull the upset against the Chiefs. You're so outmatched here. Something has to happen to help equal and level the playing field. And maybe it's a big return on special teams. Maybe it's a forced turnover on special teams. However it comes, we need all the help we can get in this football game.
When you're not matched up evenly against your opponent, bro, you need some outliers. You need some. This is the first time, and this has happened. You need a couple of those tonight, man. But even to your point about the Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey, potentially them getting a return touchdown, punt return for Jalen Lane, kick return for Luke McCaffrey. To your point earlier, with them taking on lesser roles in the receiving game, maybe they have a little bit more energy and focus on what they're doing on special teams. Like now, instead of me being a starting receiver, now I'm taking the back seat. Let me do let me put all of everything I have in me on these returns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Luke McCaffrey, I don't know, mate. He didn't get the message. What I'm saying, he didn't understand
clearly. He thought he had wings last week. Yeah. He thought he had a Red Bull.
But maybe Jalen Lane has had in the back of his mind, well, they need me as a receiver. If I get hurt on special teams, they're cooked at receiver. So maybe I need to settle down a little bit, take a sort of a back seat when, not full pedal to the metal on special teams. But now with Terry and Debo back, maybe he can go a full 110% on returns once again. And maybe that's why we haven't had a significant return. Because mind you, the same game he had the punt return for a touchdown is the same game Terry McLaurin gets hurt for a few weeks. And maybe it's not a coincidence that Jalen Lane hasn't been as dynamic on punt returns, maybe trying to take things easily to preserve himself because we need him at receiver more. Now we don't need him as receiver as much. You still want him to go out there and develop and to continue to make plays, but we don't need him as much. And I think that will bode well on our return game. Now, look, we've already had the discussion where Ed called them the whites and things like that. I don't expect McCaffrey to get a return touchdown.
Shout out to Ed.
I do want some. I mean, Luke McCaffrey, I haven't looked at it the last couple of weeks, but going into the Bears game, and I don't see why he wouldn't still be up here. He was 5th in return yards per return, something like that. And Debo was number 1, but he hasn't returned in a few weeks.
Right.
So I mean, the returns are there. I don't expect him to get a touchdown, but I do expect him to give us some great field positioning for Marcus Mariota.
You just brought some up with Terry being back. Do we see Debo go back there on a night like tonight?
That's a good point. Oh, yeah, that might be something too.
Yeah, because
we haven't seen Debo back there since I think the Falcons game was the first game he stopped doing it.
Right, because Terry got hurt the week prior against the Raiders, so he was the number 1, so they couldn't put him back there anymore. Now that Terry's back, maybe Debo's able to go
connected here. Yeah, we might have Debo and Luke back on kickoffs and Jalen Lane back in prime form on punt returns. We might
Heck yeah. I didn't even think about it till you started talking about it. I'm like, well, maybe they can slide him back to kickoffs again, because every time he touched it back there, it felt like he could go. Like, even if Luke breaks it, it's like, yeah, Luke probably ain't going to score, though. Like, shout out to Rio, man. Like, where's he going to go, right? He doesn't have that extra gear, right? Shout out to the whites, man. Shout out to Ed. Shout out to Rio. But maybe Debo gets back there, and all of a sudden you hear the seam, and Debo can go. So it'd be interesting to see if he returns to the kickoff role now that Terry is back there too. Let's take a look at a couple of statistics and some outliers and some really interesting facts heading into this game
Let's do
against
it.
Kansas City. So this will be the second time Washington and Kansas City will play on Monday Night Football. Washington has a 1-10 record all time against Kansas City. Period. This isn't just on Monday night. We
Red
don't
and
beat
yellow over burgundy and gold.
they kill us. Every time they see us, it's on site. We've only beaten the Chiefs one time in the history of this matchup. And we have never, I repeat, never won in Kansas City and have an 0-5 record at Arrowhead. So we're trying to do something that we've never done before, and that is win in Arrowhead. If we are the streak breakers, tonight would be a great time to snap a streak.
We got to go in there and show them we're the better shade of red and the better shade of yellow, man.
That's the goal. That doesn't normally play out that way, though, as this record indicates. With the win, Washington will move to 3-0 this season against the AFC West. It would be their best record against the division through 3 games since 1986, when they also went 3-0. So clearly, we've had no issues with the AFC this season. Our issues and struggles have come against NFC opponents, unfortunately for us. But hell, I'll take it. Win's a win in the National Football League. If we can go 3-0 against the AFC West, this would be a massive win, and the kind that could again change and alter the path of your season if you were able to
change your narrative too. The path is most important, of course, but like the AFC West is a really good division, and so you're going to look at
argue it's the best in football.
Yeah, so you're looking at how do we lose these games or win these games, bro? It's about consistency. It's about staying healthy. I feel like that will change a big narrative around this team moving forward.
Washington is looking to win 3 games in a single season against the AFC West for the first time since division realignment in 2002. Washington is looking to become the first NFC East team to win 3 straight games against the AFC West to start a season since Philadelphia did it in 2017. Washington would become just the 3rd team in the NFC East since division realignment in 2002 to achieve that feat. These are the ones that are crazy to me. This one and the one that we read up top with the 1-10 record and 0-5 in Kansas City overall. Washington is looking to win against Kansas City for the first time since 1983. Let me repeat that. Washington is looking to win against Kansas City for the first time since 1983. There has been sheer dominance in this matchup, and it has been in the favor of the Chiefs. Most of us, I can't say that everyone, most of us wasn't even alive the last time the Chiefs, we beat the Chiefs. Period. Washington, Kansas City, doesn't matter. The last time we beat the Kansas City Chiefs, it was 1983, which was a Super Bowl season.
So my mom wasn't even in middle school yet. That is,
bro, that is a long time ago. Since the last time we've beaten, and look, we've only beaten them once. So we beat them in 1983. That's the only time we've beaten the Kansas City Chiefs in our franchise's history, back in 83, which was a tremendous season for the Burgundy and Gold. And then Washington is looking to win on Monday night in consecutive seasons for the first time since 21-22. It's crazy to say that they're trying to win on Monday night in consecutive seasons for the first time since fill in the blank. That's not that long ago, but we had a chance to win last Monday night, 2 Monday nights ago. We didn't get it done. Doesn't feel like it's going to happen here. And this is our last Monday night football game of the season. So
let's make it count.
Yeah, try and make it count. Try and keep that streak alive and go ahead and win in consecutive seasons for the first time since 2021, 2022. So I've said all of that to say this. We don't have tremendous success against the Chiefs. That is an understatement. They dominate us every time they see us. It's on site. And unless we are able to change the narrative, it will continue to be a one-sided beatdown in this matchup. So we will get a word from our sponsors. We'll come back on the other side. We'll jump in the comment section, and then we will get out of here. Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. All right, so shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. If you guys haven't already done so, use our promo code KINGS25 to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right, a dollar for dollar match. Also in the month of October, they're having this great special where if you're a first-time user of the app, once you've verified you are a human, make sure that the app is available in your area. It's available in over 25 states in the US. Once you've done all of that, they're going to give you a free $20 to spend on the app. You don't have to put any money in. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is sign up, verify that you are who you say you are, $23 to your account. And as we've shown you numerous times, it does not take a lot to win a lot on the Sleeper app. So I wanted to ask you a question about picks. Did you make picks for this game in particular?
I didn't do like a whole 8-leg for this game specifically, but I got a few spread out on some other ones.
Okay, so I want your opinion on tonight's game. I haven't done my picks yet. I'm going to do my show here in a bit, but give me some things that you expect to happen. Like in my mind, Marcus Mariota is going to run the ball tonight. So whatever his rush yards are, I'm taking the more on that. Mahomes is going to throw 2 touchdown passes tonight, at least, because usually they set the number at 1.5 for the quarterbacks. Let me check just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to be set at 1.5 because that's the number they usually set it at.
And no, Mahomes has a half a passing yard over if you just want to play it safe too. They got the little.
They have a boost. Do they have that
right there? Yep.
Oh well, yeah. I'm definitely
0.5 passing yards right there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely using that for sure. Without question, I'm using that if that's available. So they actually got him at 2.5 passing touchdowns. I'm not touching that. Yeah, that means they have no respect for us because it's usually at 1.5.
That is a new one.
I've never seen it that high for any quarterback. That is crazy. They expect that man to absolutely light us up. Yikes. So, okay, so the one that you were talking about, that's gone. That must have been like a little quick.
For some reason, it's at the top of mine right now. Like I just pulled up the app and it was right there before I even clicked on NFL. It just says free pick.
Yeah, I don't see that one at all for him.
I always wonder how that goes because I'll send the stuff to my friends and everything,
and they don't see it. Maybe it's different based off of your betting. You know, maybe if you are more prevalent betting here, then they'll throw you a bone or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe so.
It could adapt to these apps are really smart that way. To your betting preferences. So maybe that's what that is because I do not see that on mine, which is fine. So Marcus, I believe, is going to run the football tonight. Are there any other things that you foresee happening in this game that if you were putting a ticket together for this game, you would look to put on your ticket?
Man, not even yards, but receptions. Rashee Rice, bro. Oh my man, they get that man the ball as much as possible. They even had that one shovel that technically was considered a pass, even though it felt like a run for the touchdown at the goal line. Like they give him the ball any way possible, bro. It similar to how they did with the Cowboys did us with CeeDee Lamb last year, where they just out of the backfield on a slant, screens, whatever. Like he gonna get his targets. Rashee Rice, I definitely see him getting a lot of targets. They have him at 6.5 right now. Yeah. I think he can surpass that. He only got 7 last week. You could say only 7.
Yeah,
but I think he'll get even more in this game. Again, I'm not saying he's going to go for a bunch of yards. I'm not saying he's going to score a lot of touchdowns, but I think he will get targets.
Okay. So that's something I'll keep in the back of my mind when I go to make these
Just
picks.
like Jake Ferguson. I went into that game. I had the over on his targets. I didn't expect the touchdowns. Didn't know how many yards he would get, but I knew Jake Ferguson was going to get a lot of targets against us. And then lo and behold, he killed it by like 2 or 3 over or whatever the line was.
Right. Yeah. It's just certain guys you go into a game thinking, okay, he's definitely going to kill it tonight.
They're going to get fed. They're going to get fed. And
especially against us.
Said this weeks ago, like it's just easier to go with receptions because you know somebody's going to be involved a certain amount than it is like yards or touchdowns.
Right. Because that's more dependent on how the play is drawn up, how it gets played, etc. I don't care if you get a loss of 4 yards on the catch, as long as it's a catch. You know what I mean? That's all I care about, right? So it's always easier to play the receptions than they are the yards. But that's interesting. Anybody do you think you feel confident they're going to score tonight?
Ooh, I don't know. It's because for the Chiefs, they have so many weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That's their problem. You just got to roll the dice and see which one is going to do it because they're going to score points outside.
That's right.
It's going to come from somebody. And, Travis Kelce has not been that dependable as far as touchdowns have gone, like the last 2 seasons, honestly. So that's an interesting one there. On our end, I think Debo, if I had to pick somebody, I think Debo's the most likely. But even then, like this could be another Zach Ertz touchdown day where, they're not ready to cover him. So I don't know. It's tough to pick like a definitive, I know this player on either side outside of Pat Mahomes is going to score. But if I had to pick, I think Debo is my most likely.
Mm-hmm.
I think Debo is the guy I'm leaning towards just because passing game and run game. Against week 1 against the Giants, it was a run.
Mm-hmm.
Other weeks has been passes, and it's not even the same pass. That one time it was like a back corner throw from Marcus Mariota in the end zone for I think 100th career touchdown or something like that. So it could be.
That was on a 4th down. Yeah.
And it was on a 4th down as well too. So I have Debo. If I had to guess, Debo would be my touchdown.
So
the Commanders.
Have you ever seen? I think these are new categories. Unless I've never been up here at this time. Longest completion, longest reception, longest rush. Have you seen that before?
They always do that like later. Like
that's what I was saying. I don't never
on Sunday. Yeah, they won't have it till like Saturday evening or something like that. Yeah, Sunday morning.
Yeah, so I never come up here right before the game, so maybe that's why I've never seen this because I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Normally, I make my picks way in advance, so I'm not privy to all of this.
But you get the better lines if you do it early.
Early, right? Exactly. That's why I try to get it out of the way early because the longer you wait, then the multipliers come down, the amount of yards or whatever you need goes up, and it's just not as conducive when you wait. So, interesting. Okay. Cool. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. Make sure you use the promo code KINGS25 to get you 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And once again, if you download the app and you verify in the month of October, you get $20 for free on the app to spend. Again, what's better than that? Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream.
Our kicker is going to be wearing number 41.
Hey, we do that nasty kicker thing, right? Zane Gonzalez was 47 last year, right?
Yeah.
We do the nasty kicker number thing. What was we had to do? What did we have to do with Greg Joseph? What he wear, like 48 or something like that last year? We do some nasty numbers with kickers, bro. We disrespect kickers around here with the numbers. It's never nice. It's always nasty what we do to these kickers, bro.
Ew.
That's really nasty. Mr. Pink, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mr. Pink writes, watch us win this game. Do y'all believe? Do you believe?
I'm confidence and belief is a completely different things. But I do believe. I think there's a chance. I'm not going into this game assuming we lost. Otherwise, what's the point of watching it? Because I'm not to the point at all, nowhere near the point of this season where I'm evaluating for 2026. Now I'm watching this game in retrospect of what we could do once we finally have all of our talent back on the field with a lot of the injuries that we have. We're not going to get everybody back. It seems like at least a couple of people are out for season. We saw Austin Eckler just that update a couple of days ago saying he just now can put 50% body weight, let alone being able to walk which
Mhm.
on a whole is a whole different level away from NFL shape. So there's just certain guys like some of those edge rushers, they're probably gone for the season and things like that. But
Right.
you know, when we get Jaden back, we have Jaden, Terry, and Debo back for the first time together since like
Week
week
3.
2 or something like
Yeah.
that. Midway through week 3.
Mhm.
I think this game is gonna probably take some momentum into
Oh
that.
no,
And I
you're
feel
right.
like,
It's week 2 because Jaden didn't play in week 3. You're right. It's week
oh
2.
yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yep.
I
Yep.
didn't even think about that.
Yep.
So even if we don't win, I see us going out swinging to where like even the Seahawks next week are like, all right, we need to take these guys seriously. This is not the same team that got mollywopped by the Cowboys the week before. This is a team that you need to respect and that has the talent that when they're on point can be a very dangerous team. Injuries have just set them back very far. Now that they're getting some of their impactful players back, this is a team you may have to watch out for. So I think we can go out there and at least threaten the Chiefs, scare them at least a little bit.
That's what I'm banking on. So no, I don't believe Mr. Pink. I'm sorry. Everything Rico just said is beautiful. It sounds great. I want to believe this team is going to win, but I know better. Right? I've seen enough of these to know. And yes, there are the outliers. There is the 2014 game with Colt McCoy when we go to Dallas as double-digit underdogs and find a way to win. There is the game in 2020 with Alex Smith when we go to Pittsburgh and we're big underdogs when they're undefeated and we beat them in the COVID game. I do remember what Taylor Heineke did back in 2021 when he went on the road, or it might have been 2022 when he went on the road and beat the Philadelphia Eagles on a Monday night. Yeah, I remember and we were big underdogs in that game. I remember those games. I understand that could happen, but those weren't this animal right here. This animal that is the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and all of that good stuff. Like, this is a different animal altogether that we're dealing with. And I wish but this is what I've always told you. I built this loss into us turning our season around. We're 3-5 already in my mind, right? I would love to say we're 4-4 and they've changed the way that we can approach the next 2 weeks because we just need to win one out of these next 3 games. And
just give us one, bro.
Just get one, right? And I've identified that as the game next week at home against your retiring Art Monk's jersey. You're wearing the championship threads for the first time. It's a Sunday. Like, you have to find a way to get that game at home because it's going to be even tougher the following week against Detroit in week 10 at home. So you got to find a way to win one out of the 3. If you can win this one, now you're playing with house money the next 2 weeks. Now you got some momentum, and hell, you might be able to get hot. Who knows, right?
Exactly.
But I don't see that happening. Right? I don't see that happening. So,
but then again, they have 2 starting offensive linemen now, and the weeks that our defense has looked dominant, at least for a half, were Giants without Andrew Thomas, the Chargers without Joe Alt and
the Raiders
and Rashawn Slater.
Yep.
And then now the Chiefs will have their starting left tackle and their starting guard and Trey Smith both out. I don't know what's going on. The Josh Simmons situation is crazy. So weird.
Yeah,
but the times that our defense, now granted, we don't have Dorrance Armstrong nor Dietrich Wise.
And we don't know what Dewan Payne has got going on. Sounds like he's gonna play, but
yeah. And so, but hey, common denominator of the only games that our defenses look like something is opposing offensive lines having injuries to multiple starters. So maybe in the times that Pat Mahomes has ever looked mortal is that Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl when his O-line was horrible, and just this past Super Bowl against the Eagles where my Georgia Dogs were just having him running for his life all game. So if we could do that with, mind you, Jacob Martin, nearly 40-year-old Von Miller, and Frankie Louvu maybe playing more of an edge rusher role, we could turn this game around, bro.
That's the hope. All right, that is the hope. I've injected hopium into my veins already, so that's the hope. But I'm not going to psych myself up into thinking that is reality. But like I always tell y'all, when 8:15 hits and I sit in front of my TV tonight, you can't tell me we're not winning the game, bro.
All bets are off. Let's go. We in it.
Yeah, right.
We in it. Face paint.
But right now, nah, we ain't winning the game, bro. Brian N., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Brian writes, kind of glad Gay is out. Hopefully Dan will be more aggressive on 4th downs again, just at hoping we don't get embarrassed tonight. So I think that was going to be the mindset, regardless of Matt Gay being in this game or not. He knows we can't go in here. This is akin to Cincinnati last year on the road on a Monday night.
Nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose, and you know you got to score points if you are to win. And so, look, he's not going for it on 4th and 8. You know what I mean? It's got to be 4th and manageable, 4th and 3, 4th and 2, 4th and 1, maybe even 4th and 4. But it can't, like, we got to stay out of 3rd and forevers. We got to stay out of these long down and distances so that he can have that option of, we're at the Chiefs 47, it's 4th and 3. What the hell, right? Let's go for it. Like, you can't do that if it's 4th and 9. You got to punt at that point. So we got to make sure we stay out of those long down and distances, that we set ourselves up for the opportunities. If it's 3rd and 9, don't be afraid to get 6, right? Make it 4th and 3 and give him an option to maybe roll the dice and go for it. But if you try to get all of it and you get none of it and it's 4th and 9, he's probably going to have to punt. So I hope we are aggressive. You think we're going to be aggressive tonight? Do you see this being like a Cincinnati game from last year from an aggressive standpoint?
Yeah, I definitely see us being more aggressive. Even outside of just the Chiefs and who we're going against, you're playing. I mean, it's like literally nothing to lose with the injuries. Our record isn't as bad as our fan base. The way our fan base, you would think we were like 1-6, 1-7 or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, we are to the point where it's like, you just got to try some things. Like I said, play the younger guys, be aggressive going forward on 4th down. This is the time to just try stuff out, to dive deep into your bags. Joe Wood Jr., even though it sounds like they're going to do the exact opposite on defense, though. Cliff Kingsbury, I want you to dive deeper into your bag. Joe Wood Jr. sounds like what he and Dan Quinn are going to do is make things even more simple.
Right,
They're basically like, we're taking ourselves out of it. We tried. When the offense is showing this look, we changed the call to this. They're like, nope, all right, things are too confusing. We're having miscommunication errors. What we're going to do is just make things simple, and then y'all just go out there and make plays. Y'all, you'll think faster, you'll move faster. We'll see. But even outside of that, I think it's just time to be more aggressive. To that point, Joe Wood Jr., more blitzes. We've talked about on the Commanders Kings several times. Mike Sainristil's role at Michigan, which made him such a great player, the reason he got taken in the 2nd round, and some people felt like he was arguably one of the steals of the draft, and why he even had a great season last year, even without doing this, was he needs to blitz more, bro. And it's crazy because Joe Wood Jr. showed it in the preseason last year, the 2024 preseason, and then we just didn't do it in the regular season. We haven't done it yet so far. So you need to get aggressive. Send deep. I mean, again, what better time than now with your top 3 edge rushers hurt to start to get more creative with your blitz packages? Let's blitz our defensive backs. Let's get really aggressive and creative on every side of the ball.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like, this is the time to be aggressive. Like you said, you got nothing to lose. And I hate to go into a game thinking that way. But
it's unfamiliar. Like we started the stream with, this is unfamiliar territory.
It feels nasty to be talking that way because good teams always have something to lose, right? You never go into a game, well, we're supposed to lose, supposed to get our teeth kicked in, so let's just try some shit. That's not how you're supposed to be operating, but that's where we are right now. And to Rico's point, you would think that this team was 2-5 right now. You would think this team was 1-6 with the way that the fan base is reacting, but that's because we had expectations of being better. We thought we were going to be way better than what we are right now. We thought this team would be 5-2, no worse than 4-3 right now, and said we sit here at 3-4, staring 3-5, possibly 3-6 and 7 in the face if they can't win one of the next 3 games. So that's why it feels dire right now. It's not just where we sit, it's also what lies ahead that makes this. Like, if we were playing the Titans next week, you wouldn't be as antsy, but you're playing a Seattle Seahawks team coming off of a bye that's playing extraordinary football and excellent on the road. And then you got the Lions after that. So it just feels like, man, you're pretty much screwed right now. And so this is going to be interesting. I want to see how they respond to this adversity going into this game against Kansas City. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Our guy Swaggy P writes, a lot of Commanders fans here in Kansas City, and I spoke to a couple of Chiefs fans who just wish Jaden was playing tonight. Everybody does. Like, look, if you're a Chiefs fan and you bought tickets to the game, like, you definitely want to see your boys, right? You want to see Patton, but you wanted to see Jaden. Like, this, you don't play the Commanders but every 4 years, right? I'm now with this new thing with the AFC and the NFC playing specific divisions, you may get a shot at Jaden again, depending on if the Commanders and the Chiefs both win the divisions or if they both finish in the same spot. But like, you're only guaranteed to play the Commanders every 4 years. This was an opportunity, if you live in Missouri, to see Jaden Daniels up close and in personal and be able to say, I saw him, right? Now you're getting robbed of that. It's just like you buying tickets in advance thinking you're going to see LeBron, and then LeBron's out of that game. And you're not going to get a shot to see LeBron. It sucks. This was a marquee matchup. The NFL had this one set up as a big matchup on their calendar, and now everyone gets robbed. NFL fans get robbed, Chiefs fans get robbed, Commanders fans get robbed. But that's the nature of the beast, man. So hopefully Marcus Mariota can make something shake tonight. But it sucks. We all wanted to see Jaden versus Mahomes. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Our guy BD, thank you for the super chat. Writes, we need a big night from everybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
We just can't have a handful of guys stepping up, bro. We need everybody doing what they're supposed to do, man. And that's including the coaches. That's including Dan Quinn with your timeouts. Yep. Everybody needs to be on point.
Yep, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. This total team.
We've had too many times this season where the other team is called a timeout or it's been a penalty, and then we still have to call a timeout or we get a delay a game. Like, we call a timeout, then get a delay a game after the timeout. It was like, what was the point of the timeout then?
Right. Like, again, that's stuff that loser teams do. Like, we didn't do that kind of stuff last year. You know what I mean? That's what other teams used to do against us. That was never us last year. That's why it just feels weird seeing that be us this year instead of the opposition. Ethan Henderson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan writes, would you start Debo or Terry for fantasy? Love you, Lou. What would you do? Appreciate you, Ethan, man.
If you had to choose between the two, Debo easily, just because he's just going to touch the ball more. Again, out of the backfield, on the outside. And granted, he's missed like a game and a half, I guess you could say. But Terry, he may come back a little rusty.
That's right.
And then even in that Raiders game, I believe Debo probably already had more targets than Terry in that game before Terry got the big deep shot down the field. So, Debo's more of a volume player anyway. He's safer. I think Terry is more likely to get you a 60-yard bomb touchdown. But as far as who's going to touch the ball most often, Debo. Who's more likely to score a touchdown, Debo.
Debo. Yep. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't even really need to add anything to that. Like Rico said, volume player, guy that has been in the lineup more recently, who has taken reps with Mariota this season. Terry did as well, but like Rico said very briefly, Debo's the play. Without question, don't overthink it. That's the guy that's going to have the larger impact, even if just from a volume standpoint. If you're in a PPR league, he's going to have more catches. He's going to have more touches. So you have
more opportunities to get points.
Yeah. And this isn't last year with Terry being, red zone maven. Debo's more likely to find himself in the end zone than Terry is as well. So,
yeah.
All right. So that was the last comment. Any last final thoughts going into this game on Monday night for you, Rico?
Man, just play like the season's on the line, bro. Because like you said, this could cascade into like a slippery slope into like a 3-7 situation if you don't get your act together. These are 3 tough opponents. And you got to beat somebody. You can't just assume you're just going to lose all 3. So, hey, start now, bro. Let's try to win tonight, man. Let's go out there and play like we know our season's on the line. Because I know technically, like you said, we're on paper 3-4. But it could easily turn into 3-7. So let's stop it right now. Let's go hoop and let's see what it can happen, man. To the point earlier, everybody has to step up, bro. And it's not just the players, it's the coaching staff. It's everything, man.
Proof of life. That's what I'm looking for. Proof of life. I need y'all to show me that y'all are still alive, well, and kicking. Y'all not just here trying to survive. Y'all are trying to thrive out here in these NFL streets. I need proof of life. That team that I saw in week 7 versus the Dallas Cowboys was dead. They were limp and they had no life. They were lifeless. I need proof of life tonight. Show me that this season is far from over and that you can compete with anybody, and that includes arguably, despite their record, the best team in football in the Kansas City Chiefs on their home turf without your starting quarterback. Show me that you have the resolve and the ability to overcome adversity. You may not win tonight, and I'm not expecting you to, but I am expecting you to go out there and fight and show me proof of life. So
And
that's
this
gonna.
and this NFL season is drunk. Like,
Yes, it
this
is.
is weirder than any other. This is weirder than a normal weird NFL season. Like,
Right.
I mean, just the Falcons alone, just them isolated. They beat the Bills and then get whooped by the Dolphins. Like,
Yeah.
it's any given week. So you just never know, man. Anything can happen at any time. It's been a big rock, paper, scissors league. Like, team A beats team B beats team C, and then team C beats team A. It's been happening all year. So many different examples. Even just, I mean, to beat the Chargers the way you did and then to lose to the Cowboys the way you did, I feel like injuries played a large role into that. But this team could be any team that it wants to be any given week. And let's just see what team they want to go out there with tonight.
That's why they say the NFL is a week-to-week league. The Cleveland Browns beat the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah.
Look at the Packers and what they've looked like against some of the best teams in football. And so you just don't know what you're going to get. The Jets go into Cincinnati after Cincinnati did what they did to the Steelers the week prior. They then go and allow the Jets to come into their house and put up 39 points and beat them. You just never know what's going to happen. But
this is the biggest NFL season to where you can't just assume because this team beat this team that this other team is better than that other team. You just can't do that. It's been all over the place, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I always go back to, but those teams aren't the Chiefs. they don't have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Man,
the ultimate X factor.
That's right. So we will see what happens. Either way, the Kings will be back to break it all down with you guys at some point this week, whether it's tomorrow or it's Thursday. We will see you guys and break down this game and also preview next week's tilt on Sunday Night Football versus the Seattle Seahawks. Appreciate our guy, Rico, for chopping it up here on the program with us, man. The other two Kings were busy, couldn't make it. But you got us two instead, and we held it down for y'all, and we appreciate y'all holding it down for us. If you haven't already done so, before you leave, hit the like button. That doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps this channel grow exponentially. Subscribe for more great content. We're trying to get to 7K subs. We need your help to do that. So keep hitting that sub button and also turn on that notification bell. Just like today, you didn't know we were going live. Hell, we didn't know we were going live. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Until next time, on behalf of all of the Kings, you know what it is. If you come at these Kings, you best not miss. Till next time, y'all have a good one. Chiefs, Chiefs, win, win, win. Commanders, Commanders, help us, God. Let's get it done. Shout out
to Gabe.
Shout out to Gabe and shout out to the Whites. Come on, Luke. We need you.